I've got this Ricoh GR, right? And I fired it up and, hit some of the buttons.
Oh, you have it with you?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. I want to see it after.
But, you got to plug in the date. You got to do all this stuff. Like, I got to do all this stuff to do it. I'm like, I have to operate a computer. And it's not that it's, like, I don't mean like that it's complicated, like I don't understand it, but I've got to like do all this computer work to take a photograph.
It's just not this. I mean, I was thinking about this we were finishing a bike ride yesterday, and I was thinking about music selection and how many albums I don't listen to.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about the old process of standing in front of a wall of CDs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, this one. And there's this. It's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Right? You can see, and you're finding stuff in whatever arbitrary order that you're, maybe it's alphabetical order, maybe it's just, you just shove them in there.
Yeah.
Or, that's why we love bookstores, right? It's this instant. And there's no digital, you can lay out tiles of the album, but it's not the same as, doing the, looking at the,
there's a process. There's
and the same goes with interacting with a tool. I think it's just, you can have a digital equivalent and it can be close, but it's just not as instantaneous. It's not as perfect,
right?
As, digging through like, oh, look at all these titles.
Yeah.
Searching for a book or a CD.
Yeah. And I think those things all have overlap with wanting to get out and explore. Again, I know that I'm drawn. Like, I keep thinking about like taking like a 3-day road trip up the Niobrara, and taking photographs along the way, sleeping in campgrounds in the back of my truck, and all that kind of stuff. Of course, there's part of that is thinking about what kind of content can I make out of that, or is there an article I could write? Like, what's it like to just sort of like get really uncomfortable? You don't have all these creature comforts of robotic vacuums and a hot shower and smart home accessories and music
lights
whenever you want to watch it, and lights that turn on and off by themselves. All this stuff, like, what is that experience like, and what kind of, I don't know, what kind of rush or thrill does it give you? A lot of times I do that stuff, whether it's like a long, arduous hike or whatever, and I'm sitting there going, you're doing this on purpose. Like, you chose to do this. And like, why would you do this? And then 2 weeks after I'm back, I'm like, I'm ready to go again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been doing more cycling lately than I have in a while. And cycling, running, whatever it is, whenever you do something and you really put your body through strain, there's nothing better to clear your head, to make you feel, to clear your anxiety.
Oh yeah, dude.
We just get all caught up and like, oh, I'm just never going to feel good. No. It's like, just go run around the block. You probably feel better.
It's funny that you say that, because, my wife and I are very communicative about sort of like how we're feeling, like what's our mood right now.
Yeah.
Are you like essentially sort of like, how can I compensate for any struggles that you're having right now? If you're in what we call a funk, sometimes we'll wake up feeling that way. I very rarely do.
Yeah.
I'm mostly in a good, happy mood.
Yeah.
There are certain things, of course, that can weigh me down, whether it's like too much crap in our house and clutter, or I feel like I'm the only one that's picking up after stuff, little things like that. But, this is all minor.
I'll definitely get pointy too.
Yeah,
like, I think that's,
But there's some days where I'll either wake up in a funk where I just not motivated, I'm down on myself about where I am, this or that, or something will trigger it. It used to be when I was pursuing screenwriting, a friend of mine from film school or somebody I knew from screenwriting Twitter sold a spec or had some big thing.
Had some success, and then your ego's like, whoa, this is not okay.
Or I'm just like, like, when's it going to be my turn and all this stuff, all that kind of stuff. And you just get in a funk. Anyway, I did wake up in a funk in the last couple of weeks. Maybe it was even the last 6 weeks. And I just had to say to myself, just go out and take a walk. Because I've incorporated going on 30-minute walks as just part of my overall trying to improve my fitness, losing weight.
Same, yeah.
Better,
I just,
all that.
There's nothing midday better than a walk.
Yeah. And so I took this 30-minute walk in the morning, and it just completely 180'd me. And it wasn't like, I kind of just thought about my day, whatever. Like, I didn't really like do anything on the walk. I certainly didn't have a camera with me. I did have some music, and I try to listen to music that doesn't require sort of like any kind of focus, and like music with lyrics. I tend to like think about the lyrics and the writing, and I'm kind of working while I'm listening to it. So I'll just play like some jazz or lo-fi or something that's just
jazz kills me because I like jazz. I love jazz, but jazz is the same effect.
You'll focus on it.
Yeah, I can't not focus. I almost need like something repetitive.
Yeah,
like a lo-fi.
Some people might use like sounds of nature, play rain, or the sound of a beach, or
New York City, which is the complete antithesis of what we're talking about.
There's something to it. But yeah, and those things would break me out of it, and I'm like, part of me sits there and goes and talking about this, is some of what does it is you're reconnecting with nature in a sense. Granted, I'm walking around a subdivision, where it's houses and stuff, but you're hearing the birds, the sunshine, you're getting vitamin D.
Yeah, the sunshine is big.
All that stuff. And it's duh, guys, like this is no big revelation. Like way to unlock the mystery of human experience, like being connected to nature.
No, it's one of these things that's blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
It's so clear. And it's honestly pitiful that we've become so disconnected from it, but you can find yourself sitting in a room for an entire day.
Yeah.
And you're just living in this cyberspace the entire day.
Air-conditioned air.
Yeah.
No real sunlight.
Fake food.
Everything around it was literally
processed
man-made,
food.
Plastic, wood, whatever.
No,
wood's not man-made, but the wood, the
some of the wood is man-made that we're
now.
No, we wonder why we're so, and it's one of these. It's just like we talked about in the last episode, where you wonder, man, like what are all these problems. And it's like, we're just trying to solve for our own complexity.
Yeah. Like
we're trying to solve 3 problems that we created because we were trying to solve a problem that we created.
Yeah.
When we had it right at the beginning. And I think there is a cultural movement happening. And I think you can see it in these microcosms, whether that's film photography or van life or what. There are these microcosms that are kind of springing up because they have to. I mean, it's a lot like the earth. Like at a certain point, it's going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
And these things are popping up because I think it's just, we bought in on this idea of being in our phones all the time. And
right.
It's like, oh wait, that's not the best. That's not the best way to approach the world.
I really think too, like these art forms really represent what we talked about earlier, sort of this middle ground, right? Middle ground for a camera.
Yeah.
But if you think about some of the more interesting, and I think they are art forms, but you think about surfing, skateboarding, street photography. I know street photography is, is in a man-made landscape, cityscape. But there's something about being outside. The sun's there. There's trees. There's animals.
Well, and I think
surfing is, like man and nature coming together. Even skateboarding,
it's working with what's presented
outside.
To you, though, right?
Pick up basketball.
It's working with chance. Like you're opening yourself to the world. The world's presenting itself to you, whether that's the break of a wave, or whether that's, what you're going to find. I mean, skateboarding, you're operating with man-made environment, but the fun of skateboarding is you're just going out and you're finding and you're being creative. And you're like, oh, I've never noticed that curve before. And the same with photography, right? You're just going out and opening yourself to the world, and you can find things and you're like, oh, I've never seen that tree with that kind of light, or I've never seen that person or that tableau before. And you're taking advantage of these just things that are presenting themselves the same way. You're on a surfboard. The camera's the surfboard.
Right.
You're interacting with the ocean and what the ocean's presenting, and it's never the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the exact same principle applies to when you're out with the camera.
Yeah.
And you're taking the world on.
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the sunrise.